Sawadee-ka. May the 18th. Beautiful Tuesday morning here. Monday night. Back in the States. Everything you create, and I mean everything. Okay, that's a inside joke. Everything you create or acquire begins in the form of desire. Okay, well, I'll work very hard to keep this one PG for you because there's a lot of ways you can go with that. Everything you create or acquire begins in the form of desire. In order to act, you must have a purpose. Okay, if you want to act successfully in all but the most mundane affairs, you must embrace that purpose with a burning desire. Isn't a burning desire an STD? Or is that something else? Many people think, and it's, like the italicized think, so that calls for emphasis. Many people think they want to be successful, but since they do not back that thought with an intense drive, they never achieve success. That is true. That is true of many people. I think he nailed it. Many people. Many people. Cultivate your desire. That's a good word, right? Cultivate. Feed it with thoughts of yourself enjoying whatever it is you seek. That's like your dream board, right? Like what you want to achieve or accomplish or what you want to own. You get a little dream board going. Okay, I like it. I'm with them. Feed it thoughts of yourself. Feed it bacon. Feed it thoughts of yourself enjoying whatever it is you seek. It's like stoking the furnace of a steam engine. Yeah, those are relevant, right? A lot of people work with steam engines these days. You need to build up enough pressure to carry yourself over hills. If your desire doesn't burn hotly enough, you'll find yourself stalled and rolling backwards. Oh dear, not rolling backwards. Chugga, 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 chugga. I'm rolling backwards with my big fat belly. I can roll. Alright, so you don't want to stall or roll backwards, do you? No. So you must have a burning desire, burning, itching desire. And the secret, here we go. You always wanted to know the secret. Here's the secret. The secret to action is a red hot desire. So he wrote this, of course, being totally oblivious. Being a Christian man, that last sentence is just, I am going to keep it PG, but you know what I'm talking about. You're an adult living in the modern era. The secret to action is a red hot desire. Come on now, stop it. Jesus. Yeah, I'm 57 years old and I still think farts are funny. So there is that. Coffee. I need lots of coffee. Still hot. As you can see, I just made it. Got up about a half hour ago. Reading through Facebook, seeing what's going on with the world. And it ain't good. So, because I'm a grumpy old man, I'm officially in that title these days. I can say whatever the hell I want, do whatever I want. Grumpy old men are the ones who walk down the aisles in stores and just fart. Like they just fucking let it rip because they don't care. Okay, yeah, I farted, so what? You can snicker and point and deal with it. When you're old, you'll fart and not give a shit either. That's something to look forward to, right? If you're in your 20s and 30s. When you get older, you can just fart and nobody will blame you or call you out. That's pretty cool. So, okay, burning desire. Let's flip the script a little bit, or let's not flip the script, but let's redefine that. Your why. Okay, there's a reason that you get out of bed in the morning. Because given the choice, I think everybody would just stay in bed and then, have food brought to them and then watch TV or whatever it is, be on the computer, play games, computer games, video games, whatever. Something other than getting up and going to work. I think that's human nature to want that, to relax. Coffee wasn't enough. You on alert. But we all get up and do what we got to do. Now, some of us do it for money. And money alone. You get up and you go to work and you get paid a paycheck to sit in a cubicle or work behind a counter or be, a bank teller or delivery driver or any number of jobs where you're not happy. It's not your dream. It's not your goal, but you're doing it. You're trading hours for dollars. A lot of people trade hours for dollars. At one point in my life, for 13 years, I traded hours for dollars. Now, I was making good dollars because I was an IT guy, programmer, but still trading hours for dollars. Doesn't matter how much you make. It's the concept of, the minute I stopped working, I stopped getting dollars. That's not wealth. That's not being an entrepreneur. That's not what we do, right? But that's what I did for 13 years. And before that, I had all kinds of jobs before IT that I was trading hours for dollars and not making that many dollars. I wasn't making six figures. I was, whatever, $10 an hour, whatever it was. I don't even remember, but, menial job. I mean, hell, I used to shovel snow for $5 an hour when I was a kid in New Jersey. So, I've done it. I've done it too. So that thing that drives you, right? This burning desire, Napoleon calls it. Another thing that you'll hear it called a lot from people who train on the stuff, like Tony Robbins guys, right, is your why. They call it your why. That's how I first heard it. And when I was in that insurance company, they did a lot of training on feed your head. So even though I was a complete and total failure in that business, I did learn a lot. There was a lot of valuable information I got from the training in that effort. So 3 or 4 years wasn't completely wasted, right? So they talked about your why. That's why you're doing this. Why you're being an entrepreneur means going the extra mile. So why are you willing to go the extra mile when most people, like I said, just barely want to get out of bed and trade hours for dollars and then get back to bed or go to the bar and drink, let off steam because they're frustrated and pissed off at the way things are. Well, to the large extent, they made things the way they are. But of course, nobody wants to take personal responsibility, right? God forbid you blame yourself for your own flaws and faults and shortcomings. No, we can't have any of that. Especially not today. Fucking cream puff society that we live in. So, anywho, this why, this thing that drives the people who are successful. The people who aren't successful have that why also, but they don't let that drive them, or they don't use that as motivation to break the circle, break the cycle, get out of the rat race, and work harder, smarter to make a better future for themselves, right? They have a why too. They have a family. They have, whatever it is that drives you. It's the why is very personal and very individual, right? Everybody has a different why. There's no universal why. Wealth. I want wealth. Well, sure, everybody wants wealth, but is the desire for wealth enough to make people break the cycle that we're talking about, break the chain? And the answer is no, because a lot of people still live in poverty, and they're not handicapped, they're not stupid, they have average intelligence or above, and they're lazy, they're scared, they're whatever number of reasons. They don't follow their why. They don't work to make the why achievable. They don't work they don't put in the time. They don't take action. Remember, this month is about action. So they don't plan, and then on top of not planning, they don't take action if they do plan. So the burning desire should be your why. The why is what's going to help you overcome the hurdles that are going to come up, because being an entrepreneur is not easy. In fact, in some ways, it's harder than a regular job, but the rewards, right, the payoff is much better. I mentioned yesterday morning I was going to the doctor. Everything's good. My liver is good. My kidneys are good. I mean, she ran a whole fucking battery of tests. She's a test-happy doc. I'm going to have to talk to her next time I go back about that, because I'm like, I'm not a lab rat. I don't need to be tested every 3 months or every 4 months. I'm good. I'm healthy. You know, the results were the same as they were last time. I'm good. Drinking the juice, carrot juice, cucumber juice, all that crap, all blended up, and just making better choices during the day. I'm healthier than I've ever been, and that's part of living here, and that's all one of the reasons I came here. So, you know, I'm living a lifestyle that a lot of people dream of. It really is paradise here in Thailand, and is it perfect? No, of course not. No place is perfect. Why? Because there's other human beings here. So there's greedy people here too who put money ahead of quality of life. So you're always going to have to deal with people like that, people who don't get it, people who are jealous, people who are this, people who are that. It's reality. But still, I much prefer, what I said to my heart doctor yesterday was, you know, you're so lucky to be born here, you're living in paradise. And she kind of got it, but a lot of Thai people think still, they're outdated, they're back in the 60s thinking that America is all that. And I've lived in America. I lived there for 56 years, and I've lived in Thailand a year. And those of you who know me know that I'm an extreme patriot, and I served my country for a long time because I loved it. And I'm just a realist, and you know, looking at quality of life day to day in America and quality of life in Thailand, I'm living here. I'm choosing Thailand. I very well know both places. And once again, is Thailand perfect? No place is perfect because there's people. But the people in the United States have become very cynical, very tainted, very numb. They don't really, you know, it's funny because you would think with all the liberalism, socialism going around, that would mean an error of like caring for your fellow man. It's the opposite. The liberals, who are traditionally the kind, gentle, caring ones, are fucking vicious. You know, they're out hunting the enemy. Who's the enemy? Anybody who thinks differently than they do. How tolerant is that? It makes no fucking sense whatsoever. I'm not a liberal. I'm more towards the conservative side, but truly politically, I'm an independent, right? I'm in the middle. I'm a moderate and an independent. So I'm not far right and I'm not far left. And I'm watching the liberals in action, you know, the Nancy Pelosi's, who she's just a piece of shit, you know, she's a scumbag. And Mitch McConnell, who's far right, he's a piece of shit, right? And you're looking at these two just saying, how the fuck did they get into power? And the answer is people don't care, right? Americans don't care. As long as they got their 4 TVs and their 2 cars and their big ass house, cookie cutter McMansion, you know, in a development. You know, Stepford Wives, keeping up with the Joneses, right? They're cool. They're good. You know, the standard of living was pretty high in America. That's coming down. You know, if you think having a socialist government in charge is a good idea, look at Venezuela. Just Google it. It's a fucking shithole. I've been there. They're poor as fuck down there, man. The standard of living has gone down, and they were. And it's not like they're some third world country. They were the shiznit back before this dude got into power. The socialist regime took over. They had money. The citizens lived very well down there in Venezuela. It was a very prosperous country. The wealth was distributed fairly equally. Are there always going to be poor people? Yeah, because like we talked about in the beginning of this paragraph, they don't have the oomph to go chase their why. They don't have the balls. They don't have the ambition, whatever. They choose to sit and watch TV or do whatever the fuck they did in Venezuela. You know, just chill out. So there's always going to be poor people. There's always going to be rich people. It's the middle class that's the most important. And that's what's being destroyed now, you know, with the new government. So, and when I say the new government, it's the old government. They had an interloper in there for a while. And yeah, he's gross and he's misogynist and he's an egoist and everything the left claims about Trump was true. But he was an outsider is the main point. He wasn't politics as usual. And that really upset what they call this old expression, upset the apple cart. You know, he really turned things on there which I think was good, because I'm part anarchist, and I think it needed to be turned over. Unfortunately, the powers that be, the money-grubbing politicians who were self-serving, they took back over, and then business as usual in Washington, D.C. Our country's for sale again, and that's disappointing to me. That's part of the reason Thailand's better. Now, is the Thai government corrupt? Well, God forbid I would say that on social media, but you make your own conclusions. Politicians around the world in general have their best interest in heart, not the people they govern. So there we go. Today we talked about burning desire, getting action with burning desire. But seriously, what it comes down to is having a big enough why to get you over that resistance, that human nature resistance towards working towards your goals and achieving what you want to achieve. That's all he's saying, in a very interesting way. Like I said, if you have a 5-year-old's mentality like I do, you find that shit really funny. But in all seriousness, just define your why. Think long and hard about why you want more than, to be a slave in the circle. And when you come up with a good enough answer, you will break out of that fucking circle, guaranteed. Just make sure you have your focus on the why. That will be your motivating factor to put out the fires and jump over the hurdles when they come. And I promise you they will come. It happens.